What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of the Sick Podcast Talking Titans. This week we got another preseason game to get into. Stats, recaps, all that good stuff. Still waiting on some more news on our wide receiver that's been injured. Got a lot to cover, and we're going to do it all and more on this week's show. Shane, start me up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Ladies and gentlemen, 94 yards. Touchdown, Titans. He is the baddest man in the NFL, and he just took her to the house.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast.
Zach!
It's gonna be sick.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of the Sick Podcast Talking Titans. Got my full crew here today. Happy to say, always, Jarrett and Vin. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Doing good.
Jarrett, happy to have you back. I'm sure you're glad to be back.
Absolutely, man. I got a big week this week, and my sister's getting married on Friday. We got another Titans game this weekend, so I got a very busy weekend ahead of me.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into this week's topics. First one, very simply put, is we had another preseason game this past weekend. Only got to see one quarterback, but it was an important one nonetheless. As of now, our projected number 2 star Malik Willis played the entire game. Some ups, some downs. Defense looked great, but as always, I'll turn it over to you two, Vin. Initial thoughts and reactions on what we saw this past weekend, and has any of your your thoughts changed on players and where we look this season, all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there were some good things, some bad things, some things in between. I thought your boy Malik Willis was just average at best. I thought he looked a little better week 1 of the preseason. I thought our boy Tajay Spears looking like he's going to be a problem, looking like he might get more work than we thought. I said it the other week, especially with another receiver going down today. I think this kid is going to get work early and often and could be a guy that we rely on, God forbid, one day if the King is no longer residing in Tennessee. He looks like he has the ability.
Knocking on wood.
Tajay, yeah, same here. That Tajay Spears can be a feature back in this league, it looks like. Another running back looked good. Chestnut, I believe a second or third year guy we've had on the team. Hassan Haskins looking like he might need a new home soon. And then Jarrett and I's boy, Caleb Murphy. I mean, he leads the NFL in sacks right now for the preseason. Take that with a grain of salt, obviously. But guess what? I'm not taking anything away from him either, because he's a D2 guy who went undrafted, who very little people knew much about him, and he's making his mark early and often. And I think we could just about, lock in that final 53 spot for him. And as far as the kicking game, there wasn't much there. I think Trey Wolf kicked the only 22-yard field goal. He made it, but my thoughts haven't changed on that position as well. We'll get into that a little later. But yeah, we won the game. Some good things, some not so good things, and some things in between. So it's my general consensus on the game this week.
I again taped the game. I did not watch it live. I watched it twice taped. And some things I saw, Malik Willis did not look that great, in my opinion. 10 of 17, 85 yards, touchdown, interception, throwing a ball. He did not look consistent, still high throws. He ball security in the pocket, too. He had a fumble, and it was a bad snap. I know that was on Brewer, but still, you got to be able to throw the ball away when you're scrambling that much. You can't use that lose that much yardage when you're running away from everybody. Throw the damn ball away so you don't lose yards. So that's one. Two, some negatives with the game. Chig, man, 2 balls right in his hands. You got to catch that if you want to be a Pro Bowl, if you want to be a top 5 fantasy tight end in this league, or a top 5 tight end in this league. You got to catch the ball. You got to make plays if you're a playmaker for us. And some things with the offensive line. Vrabel left them in a little bit longer than they did the first preseason game, because the first drive wasn't so great. There was no push. I saw Brunskill. He got blown back a couple times. I had to rewatch that. he got bulldozed over a couple times. But the anchor on that offensive line, man, is Aaron Brewer. Everybody's saying, the addition. I'm not the addition. The loss of Ben Jones was going to hurt us and kill us. I don't think so, man. I think Brewer is a huge anchor. He's gained a lot of weight. He's leading the offensive line right now, and I saw a lot of good things with our left tackle and Andre Dilliard. Man, he was holding down the pocket for on that left side that we needed. Compared to what the hell's his name, Dennis Daly, we had last year. So it's a little different approach this year. So there was some good things, like you said, some bad things, but Caleb Murphy, man, real quick, he is a problem. He's a problem.
Yeah, no, you've been talking about him from the jump, so definitely give you props there. Listen, it's just so hard to really do any kind of legitimate analysis on a preseason game. It's really tough, but you can make some, firm assumptions based on what you've seen. Again, offensive line not good enough, no depth whatsoever, which is just not good. And defense looks great. Malik still rough around around the edges. Just got to hope he continues to progress. This is a typical Malik stat line here. He had 85 yards, I'm sorry, he had 91 yards rushing, which is obviously great. He took a couple of hits, isn't ideal, but listen, you guys nailed it on the head. Tajay Spears, out of this world. This Rand Carthon knows about running backs, and he's showing it. He's showing it. And even Julius Chestnut. I mean, how many preseasons is this guy going to pop off? And then
he's definitely earned a spot this year.
You never see him again after that.
If we don't sign him, he's not making it to our practice squad. Someone will sign him to their 53.
Doesn't matter what kind of game you're playing in, whether they're preseason, regular season, college. You're averaging 7.5 yards a carry. You're playing somewhere. And he had a hell of a night with a 55-yarder to boot.
2 touchdowns as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, really. But Tajay Spears, just so excited to see him in meaningful games. He looks like a guy that is going to blow the top off of our defense, I should say, and confuse everyone to death. But no super major injuries. That's always a plus. That's what you're looking to do, get in and out without any catastrophes. But a win nonetheless, and some stuff to build on. So, I'll get the ball rolling or not get the ball rolling briefly on Malik. Again, I need to see more. I still saw them kind of go back to their old ways, not really treating him like a quarterback, kind of treating him like a liability. If you want him to progress, you got to trust in him to be a quarterback, and playing a full game. And only how many throws did he have?
17.
I mean, come on. This is a preseason game. We got a kid who we're trying to find out what he's made of, and you're letting him throw 17 times. That doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, let's dive into specifics as far as what you guys think about what you saw out of the defense. I mean, no matter what team you're looking at, first team, second team, you hold the team to 16 points in a game. That's good. And I saw a lot of good stuff. What did you think, Vin?
Well, before we get to the defense, too, another guy I wanted to shout out. We talked about last week briefly. I brought him up. The tight end, Dudakoya. I need to get a pronunciation on that. Like I said, he's a mauler. A lot of those big holes that were created for
touchdowns. Touchdowns. Yep.
We're run off him. So he's creating those holes. We know Vrabel loves anyone who could block, and he's going to be a part of this team, I think, for sure. Going to see a lot of action with him early and often, blocking off the right side and the left side. So good for him. You like to see guys make the team who do scrappy things like that for sure. And then another thing, we'll get into it later, but to focus in on the defense, yeah, man, I've been a fan of this defense since last offseason, since the end of last season. I mean, I think we have premier players at multiple positions. Jeffrey Simmons, top 3 defensive tackle in the league. Kevin Byard, yes, still at this age, Sal is a top 3 safety in this league. I know they didn't really play, but you'll love to see our second unit guys come in and let their mark be known as well. Caleb Murphy's going to make this team. We saw a clip of Tyir Tart, which we haven't talked about him in the last few weeks, but he had a clip of joint practices that blew up Twitter where he just tossed him, made him look like a rag doll, made him look like a little boy, and he'll be a phenomenal rotational piece first down, second down. He's going to be a guy next year that is going to get paid a contract probably north of 7 to 10 million. And a lot of people are going to be like, who's that? In my opinion. But he's also a Philly guy too. So shout out Philly. No free shout outs. But the defenses look great. Improved from what we saw week 1 in the preseason. And I still think it's going to be the strongest point of this team. Say what you want about Henry and Hopkins. They're going to be great. But, this offense hasn't played together at all. This line, these star players that we have, there's not much continuity with this offense yet. And I think until they develop that chemistry, it's going to be the defense that we lean on yet again. So good for them holding the Vikings to under 20 points. I foresee that being a pattern in the regular season as well, leaving us to be in every game just about.
Yeah, just like last year. And like you said with T.R. Tart in practice, he was unblockable in the game. I mean, his pass rush, he worked on it. Terrell Williams said he worked on it this offseason, and it clearly helped because he was all over the place, pass rushing. But there's 3 guys that's been really standing out for me. Vrabel's been saying it, but every time I throw on the tape, because I record it, Eric Garger, one of the defensive backs, he's been all over the field. Otis Reese, we've been talking about linebacker play. Otis Reese has been all over the field. And your boy Trey Avery, Rutgers' finest, he has been all over the field. So those 3 key guys, they're playing key roles even in the special teams and on our defense. So if they're reliable on defense, Vrabel's going to like them on special teams. So those guys really stand out as the no-name kind of guys so far in camp. So they could probably make the 53-man roster this year.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys that, before we start preseason, probably didn't foresee them being on the team. And a lot's changed since then. It's unfortunate, actually. Like, first preseason game, my friend asked me to play golf with him, and it was a great course for free, so I couldn't say no. And now this past game, I had a surprise party that I obviously didn't know about. And, my mom told me we're going to go for dinner for your birthday early because we got plans for your actual birthday. So I was like, fine. I was planning on watching it on my phone, and then surprise. And obviously I wasn't going to be rude and watch a Titans preseason game while I have a surprise party for myself on my phone. So I wasn't able to watch either game live, but obviously I watched lots of highlights, saw the stat sheets, things of that nature. This is going to be a really different looking defense. It really is. This is going to be the most different looking Titans defense we've seen in better part of a decade, as far as change from past year to this year. So many new faces, so many guys coming out of the woodwork, and it's exciting because we need to get younger. And obviously we have our pieces, set in stone for the foreseeable future. As of now, Simmons, Landry, we'll keep Byard in the mix, obviously, because it looks like he'll be here maybe a couple more years, hopefully.
He'll make the team.
Hopefully. So, it's great to see. It's obviously great to see. And there's players that we haven't even seen yet that haven't touched the field that are new additions that we're going to get to see starting in New Orleans. So, all things considered, with the exception of Malik maybe not doing as great as I would have liked to have seen, a lot of positives to take away from this past game in Minnesota. A lot of positives, and
there is a negative though, because like you said before the defense, I wanted to bring it up, but we talked about the defense. You said there was no key injuries coming in out of that week. There was, because we just got news that Kyle Phillips just suffered a MCL sprain. So, I mean, that's another blow to the wide receiver room. I mean, how many times does this room get snake bitten from us? I'm getting sick and tired of it. We need to bring somebody in. I just tweeted it just before. We need to bring somebody into this room, because if he does go 6 weeks, I don't want to see a Reggie Robinson. I don't want to see a Mason Kinsey. Give me Corey Davis if he gets a camp cut. Bring him back on this team. Pair him with Hopkins, Burks, Davis, and more. That'll be a lethal 4 wide receivers until Kyle Phillips can come back and play a key role in the slot, hopefully. Because right now his durability is very reliable. I mean, not reliable, and kind of getting sick of it already. And it's been a year and a half. I mean, this guy, all we hear is, he's great in camp, just like Racing McMath, like we heard last year. Racing McMath is great in camp. What have you done for me? And that's what this league is all about. So what have you done for me, league? And he has done nothing so far.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up as well. The only thing I'll disagree with is good for Mason Kinsey. He's been playing pretty well in the preseason. I think he's going to make this team, and I'd like to see him get some step into that role that we think Kyle Phillips could play in,
If that's
and
the
hopefully
case,
and never look back. I'd love for that to happen, but I do also think they'd be wise to bring somebody in, a veteran. Who knows? I'd love Corey Davis back. Although, and I know it's a different front office, but I don't know how willing he's going to want to be to come back to a team that refused to offer him any sort of contract. He was on the record saying when he left Tennessee, just they didn't offer him. They didn't want him. So who knows how willing he's going to want to be to come back here. I see him more going to a team that he thinks is a shoo-in as a contender, i.e. A Kansas City, a Buffalo. I think he'd fit in great there. But we'll see. And then what else did I want to say? I want to also see what is wrong with our boy Will Levis. Because if it's nothing too serious, I want to see him as much as possible. The opportunity that Malik Willis just got week 2 to take that number 2 job, I want to see Will Levis, if he's healthy and can play, which, correct me if I'm wrong, they've only said lower body. We don't know what exactly it is. I'd love to see him get at least a full half under his belt. Because if he doesn't play this game, then by default, he's going to be our third quarterback because he's only played a handful of series in the preseason should he not play the third game. But if he's healthy, I'd love to see him get 2 quarters, 3 quarters. Shit, let him get the whole game, if you think he's healthy enough. See if he could impress us a little bit and take that number 2 job because I still think it's up for grabs. But, yeah, as far as the receiver position goes, I'd like to see someone come in now. And like Jared said, I'm kind of getting sick of Kyle Phillips. It is unfortunate, but it's like Dr. Phillips said last week about Treylon Burks. It's, okay, he missed big parts of last year. Now, if he misses big parts of this year, I mean, then next year you're in the third year of a 4-year deal. I mean, you should know by year 3 if that player is worthwhile, if that draft pick was the right one. So hopefully he gets back sooner rather than later because clock's ticking on him as well. But that's all I got to say about that. We'll let Sal talk about his boy Will Levis and how he feels about him getting in that third preseason game if he's healthy.
No, I want to see Will Levis too. I think Will Levis deserves a chance to get a full game, because he's been taking the back seat, and obviously for good reason. Malik's got more experience and deserves it, but I'd like to see him play a full game. And frankly, you're right. I'm tired of this BS with Kyle Phillips. I don't want to see Mason Kinsey. God forgive me. Give me a fucking break. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see Nick Westbrook-Akina. I barely want to see Chris Moore, to be honest. He just seems like another guy. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong, but this just looks like another Robert Woods to me, like another guy that we're just bringing in and saying, hey, look, he did really well this year or two. He should do great here. And then we throw the ball to him 40 times in a season, and then we wonder why, he doesn't work out. I mean, obviously Robert Woods was a complete bust, and he's kind of overrated after what I've seen in Nashville. But, I'm just tired of this bullshit fucking wide receiver carousel that we're dealing with because nobody can stay healthy. It's frustrating as hell. Kyle Phillips was supposed to be an integral part of this offense, and now we got to put him on the back burner again, and that's coming off losing our second best receiver for God knows how long. It's ridiculous. It's upsetting. I can't deal with it anymore. They got to bring someone in now. They just have to. I'm sure whoever it is going to be a disappointment to all of us. It's going to be some guy that had 800 yards in 2018, and has been fucking in a practice squad since Obama was in office. But we'll see what happens. There's just it just never ends with the injury bug. Something's got to give. This fucking strength and conditioning coach. I mean, what is he doing? What is he doing? What are these guys doing when every practice, every fucking week during the season, we got to deal with a major player getting hurt? It's more than a coincidence. I'm sorry, it really is. 31 other teams don't get hurt this much, and we've been the biggest, really most injured team for the last 3 years now coming up on. This year hasn't even started yet, and we're already going to put ourselves in that category. Yep. And something's got to give. I don't know what it is, but, it is what it is. We just got to pray for the best. And and hope that we get our guys back when we need them, which will be in about 3 weeks. So,
So before you even go on to that, now
yep.
that's gonna lead into something else right now, because I'm gonna ask you this question to the both of you. We're going into the last preseason game, right? We haven't seen none of our stars. We have a brand new offense. Do you put them out there for a series under their
No,
plate
no,
to see what
no,
this offense has?
no,
Not now.
no,
Why?
because I'm scared.
I mean, yes. As a fan, I'm petrified as well.
I mean, I don't
But
even want to get Henry.
now
Seeing
think.
Henry just fall down in a
No,
preseason game
not
with
not
just
Henry. I mean, you heard Vrabel in his press conference. I think it was today or yesterday. He said that some guys are going to have to play. Harold Landry hasn't played football in a year and a half now, so he's going to have to get snaps. He said it. So he did mention Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, and Ryan Tannehill have played a lot of football, but he didn't say, hey, they're playing, or hey, they're not playing. So I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
I would
I mean,
like
I
to
think
see him
there's
out
some
there
players.
for a series just to get their feet wet, because I don't
No,
want to
I
struggle.
don't. I don't think you put. Well, I'll meet you in the middle here. Not to say that nobody should play, but I don't want to see Tannehill. I don't want to see Henry. I don't want to see DeAndre Hopkins. I think Chig should play a fair amount. I think,
Chig's been playing, so he should
yeah,
play. Absolutely.
exactly. I agree, especially after last week's performance. I basically don't want to see any of our, the Byard. I don't want to see Jeffrey Simmons. I don't know. I think
It's tough to say that, man, because
yeah.
everybody says September football, you can throw it out the window, because a lot of good teams lose a game or two in September and put themselves in a hole, and then they go on the stretch. I don't want to
Yeah,
be there.
here's my thing. What do you really is the risk worth the reward? You know what I mean? To throw a key guy in there, and it only takes one non-contact, one idiot to fall on the back of your knee. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think there's really much to gain by throwing out these players, because realistically, if they do play, it's going to be for 2 or 3 series. Is it really you're gonna get that much out of it? You know what I mean? I don't think it's worth it. I don't want to see Tannehill, Henry, Hopkins, Simmons, Byard. You want to throw Chig out there? Sure. Listen, I don't even want to see Tajay Spears at this point. He's proved that he's our number 2 back. Let him be ready to go for week 1. Throw Chestnut out there. Throw Hassan Haskins out there. You know what I mean? I don't want to see anyone of too much importance out there this last preseason game, especially the last 2 weeks with 2 big scares, Burks and now Kyle Phillips. Hopefully they'll both be okay, but we're playing with fire here. Let's get out of this last week of training camp and start looking forward to week 1.
So what you're trying to say is bang the under week 1?
Or bang the over, because the defenses are pretty inexperienced
40,
as well. We don't know.
41 and a half. I don't know about that, man. It's not the defense. The Saints have a good defense, and we got a really good defense.
It's gonna be a coin flip. We all know that. It could be a fucking 20 total point scoring game. Each team can score 32. You just don't know. The first 3 weeks in the NFL is an absolute wild card. But I'll say this: here's how my mind would work. If we were playing Buffalo week 1, I'd say, okay, let's get Tannehill in there for a couple series. Let's get Derrick Henry in there for a couple series just to knock a little bit of rust off, because we got the best of the best showing up for September 11th. Which is that when the season starts this year?
Yep.
Okay. So, but in this case, now I'm not saying New Orleans is a joke. I'm not saying New Orleans is a walk in the park, but they are a team that, the 10th. Okay. They're a team that I think this team on paper should match up well against. So with that being said, when you have guys that are likes of Ryan Tannehill, seasoned veteran, Derrick Henry, seasoned veteran, Byard, Simmons, etc., I don't foresee them playing with any less effort or skill or ability going in there without any reps in the preseason rather than with reps in the preseason. They're irreplaceable guys. We've already lost irreplaceable guys of the likes of Treylon Burks. Kyle Phillips isn't irreplaceable, but was important on the depth chart as it stood today. I don't foresee there to being any reason to do it. Honestly, I wouldn't be scared to see Derrick Henry out there. I'll be honest, because I just really don't think there's a legitimate chance he gets hurt. Now, obviously anything's possible, but he's just built different. So I could see him playing a series or two. There's no need for it. But if I saw him out there, I wouldn't really be too worried. But Simmons, Tannehill, Hopkins, no fucking.
No.
DeAndre Hopkins gets hurt, and this season is over. I don't care when Burks comes back. If we lose DeAndre Hopkins for half the
Yeah, we're
season,
back to square one.
it's over. It's done. Kaput, gone. Jacksonville enjoy the home playoff game. So there's no need for it. Who's even the opponent for the last game? Or is it New England?
Yeah,
And that's in Tennessee, right?
correct.
So yeah, I mean, there's no reason for it. You just get to the first game with Nuke, with Henry, with everyone.
I do feel a lot better after reading this. Sorry to interrupt you, but Vrabel just announced that they're going to be doing a blue and white scrimmage tomorrow. So if they're going to have the starters out there and they're going to be like Tannehill, Hopkins, and Henry on one team, we'll whatever. I'm fine as long as they're getting reps against the defense. I'm
That's
fine
it though. That's fucking it. And
no
fucking go routes for DeAndre Hopkins, for the love of God. Okay? I don't care what anyone says. Every other team does it. Well, we're not every other team, number one. Number two, just because every other team does it, doesn't mean it's the smartest thing ever. Okay? Most men have unprotected sex. Doesn't mean it's a good thing to do. Right?
Whoa.
I don't know where that analogy came from, but you know what? With the look you guys gave me, that's a new meme. I'm tired. I had a long day at work. My first day at work in fucking 6 months. So listen, it is what it is. We got one game left to knock the rust off. Whoever needs it. There's some depth position spots that need to be filled that are right on the cusp of figuring out who they're going to be. So let's lock those up. Let's find out who our fourth receiver is. Let's find out what defensive players that are on the bubble that are going to make the team. And let's get out of there without any major injuries. That's it. That's the bottom line. So we're going to do one bold prediction stat line for the season?
Sure.
All right. Why don't you start us off, Jarrett?
All right. You want to start off with the quarterback then? We'll try to get a little prediction of the stats every week from a player here on out. We'll start with Tannehill. I'm thinking if everybody stays healthy, everything goes well, everyone plays a full season, I think in this offense, Sal's gone.
Sal didn't even want to hear your predictions.
Sal didn't even want to hear. He didn't want to hear it.
With Tannehill.
I think Tannehill has 3,900 yards with 34 touchdowns and 11 interceptions this year.
Now, is that total touchdowns or is that in the air?
Total touchdown. I mean, in the air. If you want to go there, I'll give you 3 rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
AC pulled the plug on me because of that analogy I made. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So, you want to hear that you're back in?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I want to hear what you have to say.
I said Tannehill will throw for 3,900 yards, 34 touchdowns. I said.
How many?
34 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and
how many touchdowns?
34 touchdowns.
Oh my God.
11 interceptions and 3 rushing to make the total 37 touchdowns this year. Yes, sir.
So he's going to be a Pro Bowler then, right? Those are Pro Bowl numbers.
There are, but you got Allen, Mahomes, you got Rodgers, you got all these other guys in there.
Oh, no. He throws 34 touchdowns. He's going to be a Pro Bowler. So you're saying Tannehill is going to be a Pro Bowler?
I hope so. But all these Pro Bowl, votes, the 12-year-olds, they go, Mahomes and Allen, it's the big names. They're not going to do it. So the guys that really deserve the Pro Bowls don't get it.
If Ryan Tannehill throws 34 touchdowns this year, he is going to make the Pro Bowl. I'm telling you right now. If he goes 30-11 with 3 rushing, he's making the Pro Bowl.
He had 40 touchdowns a couple years ago.
And he made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. I had abs a couple years ago too, but now we're sitting at a comfy 210 right now. So
we're not talking 10 years ago, Vin.
I'm trying to get to 210.
Was not 10 years ago. That was just rude. I'll go next. I like Tannehill. I do. I've always been in between you guys when it comes to that. I don't love him. I don't think he's the worst quarterback ever. I think he's a middle tier guy who at his best is a top 12, maybe 10 guy when we ran that offense with Art to the title game in the following year. And at his worst, I think he's, second, half of the league, 16, 17. That being said, should he stay healthy, should we have a healthy skill set around him, Henry, Chig, Berg, Hopkins, whoever, if we stay healthy all year, I think he is going to throw for 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, have 3,200 yards in the air, and I think he can run for 3 to 5 touchdowns and give us, a couple hundred yards on the ground as well. But 27 touchdowns, 3,200 yards is where I think he goes in the air this year.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
No, that's fair. I'm going to go 25 touchdowns. I'm going to go 12 interceptions. 3,100 yards. That should be.
You gave a Price is Right answer right there, because if you don't go, you went a little below me just in case.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
save
trying
all
to get
these
to the
stats.
showcase showdown.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll save all these stats and we'll see who's the closest.
Listen, if my stat line is correct, that's a major issue. So I shouldn't even put that into the atmosphere. Bearing we get Traylon Burks back sometime before Christmas, which is obviously what we're expecting. This guy should have a fucking field day with the weapons that he has around him. But I need to see actual progress as far as play calling and using these players the correct way to gain the most out of them before I go ahead and give this guy, a 4,000 yard season with Pro Bowl aspirations. He should be a Pro Bowler this year. Ryan Tannehill, listen, you have Traylon Burks, DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry, up and coming star, and Tajay Spears, who's going to be taking the reins when Derrick Henry hangs it up. This guy should make the fucking Pro Bowl. He's got more weapons than a lot of guys in this league. There's guys that would pray to have the weapons this guy has. It's just a matter of protection, play calling. And so far, protection looks like it's fucking not gone any better, at least death-wise.
No, they settled in. They settled in.
Yeah, that's something I was going to say too before you said it, Sal, is the one thing neither of us talked about until you just said it was, the offensive line. And I think a lot of his success this year is going to be, dependent on that offensive line, because God forbid he goes down, then you're really like, you better hope that one of these guys, these young kids, picks up the ball running, because then, we'd be in real big trouble. So we got to protect him first and foremost. I mean, he missed the most games in his career last year, aside from the year he tore his ACL where he missed the season. But, we got to keep him upright. And the line did get a little better from the first week to the second week. But, yeah, that's a huge, an offensive line that's good or an offensive line that's bad could be the difference between Sal's prediction and Jared's prediction, in my opinion. So
can an injury.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, let's hope that 37 touchdowns happens. If that happens, then my plaque's coming out of the box. I'll tell you that much. And it's not going to be. It won't be up for sale. If he throws for 30, how many? 37. 34. 34 and 11. Three rushing. Yeah. No, that plaque will come right out of that box if that's his stat line, and that means we should be going deep in the playoffs if that's the case. So that'd be great news, and I'd be the happiest fellow on the planet. So that's the bottom line. I need this stigma to be resolved, because so many people have this thought process, at least about me, that I don't want Tannehill to succeed. That's completely asinine, incorrect. I don't care who is quarterbacking the Titans. I just want them to win. I want them to win a Super Bowl. I don't care who the quarterback is. In an ideal world, it would have been Mariota. He's one of my, guy that I idolized growing up. I thought he was going to be the face of the franchise. He's not. Oh, well, life happens. I don't care who it is. I don't care. It wouldn't have mattered to me if it was Tannehill, Mariota, Malik, Will. It doesn't matter. Just get me the fucking ring. And, I hope Tannehill crushes it this year. I'd be the happiest fellow on earth. And time will tell. We'll see. This is it, though. This is the last dance. So, we're going to wrap up for tonight. Got a nice solid show in there for you. Is there anything else you two want to add before we close out for the night?
No, that's it. Hope we get out of this week healthy. Hopefully we bring in some sort of competition at the receiving position.
Have to.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's a diagnosis on his thing, and it's not a 6-week MCL sprain, and it's like, like Traylon Burks, where he missed a week or two. So what? We could deal with that. But still, like, the trainers, get these guys healthy, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, it's starting to become, an issue. And Sal said, earlier, this can't be a coincidence at this point. 1 year, okay, 2 years, that's a coincidence. But now it's starting to bleed into the early part of the third year. It's like, I mean, there's got to be someone that's held responsible for this. So, hey, listen, I got a 4-year exercise science degree in 5.5 years. All right, I'm no dummy. I had to take a lot of those classes twice. All right,
No, I love you in there, Vin.
I know a thing or two. I will whip that team into shape. And Miss Amy, this is me saying all you have to do is pay me $1 more than my current job, and I will gladly take my talents down to Nashville.
Hey, we are a package deal. I will squirt water in everyone's mouth.
I will mop the fucking floors,
for $1
Amy.
less than what I'm getting right now.
Amy, give me $45K a year. Find me some shit living for $800, $600 a month. I will clean the fucking floors of St. Thomas Sports Park
with a toothbrush.
Just get in the building.
Forrest Gump and Bubba just doing work in there. Doing work with the toothbrush.
I'll be that guy that just pulls Mike Vrabel off the field. You know that guy that does that with the guy with McVay.
Yeah.
Although it's a lot harder pulling Mike Vrabel back to the sideline than Sean McVay. That's for damn sure. I think we could pull Sean McVay back with one arm. But yeah, guys, listen. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If nothing else, guys, just like the video. We want to get the algorithm up. We want to get more people watching our stuff. And that's the way to do it. So make sure you're going to hit that notification bell. Make sure you know when our shows are coming on. We're planning on doing a lot of new stuff this upcoming season. We're going to try to do some instant post-game stuff. That way, get you guys instant reactions on what we all saw. And that way we can also get live comments, questions, things of that nature. We want to keep everyone involved. Great guests as well. We got a lot of stuff in the works. So make sure you do us a favor and share the show and let people know, and we'll return the favor with content. So hope everyone has a fantastic night, fantastic day, and a fantastic week. And as always, tighten up. Shane, send me out, baby.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.